number 12.
That was creepy. My number 12. All right. This one definitely could be higher. So my number 12 is Bloodborne. I love the theme of Bloodborne. I love the dark, gothic, horror-based theme. Another campaign, right?
Ish. Chaptered campaigns.
Chaptered campaign style game, which actually I appreciate because it makes it a bit less overwhelming when you consider campaign style games. Is you're basically completing a chapter at a time as opposed to trying to do the whole thing. So that's really cool because each chapter comes with its own. It has an overall arc to the whole thing, but each chapter has its own unique beginning and end. So,
and you can, from what I understand, you play those chapters in any order you want.
Yeah.
Like, I think so. It's
but very cool game. I love the feel. I love the theme. I love the interaction with the cards that you play. And again, one of those games where you have to make some big decisions about how you're going to use your cards because what you have in your hand is limited, and what you have in your hand is not only going to help you potentially fight or do other things, but it's also what you have to use to move. So the card combos that you can put together are very cool. Another game that plays really well where you just feel like you're on the edge at all times, and that you have to make some very hard decisions during the game. The monsters are really cool. The miniatures are very cool. And yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with this game. I think one downside to the game is it can get a little confusing as you're going through a scenario. It's a big deck of cards that once you reach a certain objective, you find that number and you're kind of stringing together a whole story to finish an objective. There's a few times it's been a little clunky and a little confusing, but we figured it out, and we figured it out without in any way ruining the game, which is good. I mean, when a game is that big and has that much going on, I think there are times maybe that could happen, but with that happening, it's never bombed the game. It's never done anything. It's always just been like, oh, okay, I may have, it's just a little hiccup. But that is all overcome for me by just the theme and the cool nature of the game and the mechanic of the game, which I think makes it feel very tense at all times.
Now we should say that we have no association with the video game, so to us it was fresh.
Yeah, we had no idea.
Just a board game, and so what they do is there's a stack of cards. Just here's your cards. That's your scenario. There you go. And so it's all, you flip through card 1, card 2, card 3 tells you what to do. It's all on the cards. Because of that, you can tell that they edited down these things onto the cards, the story. So it's not a story book. It's all just that deck of cards. It'll tell you how to play the entire scenario. And because of that, I feel at times it gets confusing. It's like they had to truncate it to fit it onto a card. And sometimes we're like, go find this item. Well, where is it? I don't know. So we just kind of explore, get the item, and well, what do I do with it now? It's just like, go find it. Is there a card that says, once you find this, move somewhere else? Kind of little shortcuts like that.
Yeah.
That's what she's talking about.
Still worth it. Very worth
definitely.
it. Yep. So, Bloodborne.
My number 12 is so fun. Oh, it's just fun. You never don't have fun with it. It's called Project Elite. Oh, it's fun. It's fun to bring other people into it. We've played it with kids. We've played it with grown-ups. We've played it with the people who look at their games. Look at their phones all the time, and it's a great game because you cannot look at your phone all the time. It's in real time.
We played it with people who basically love worker placement and hate, kind of games where you're going to war, and
Yeah.
they love it. So
yeah, we've had people with like, okay, you're going to hate this game, but you're going to play it. And they went, no, I didn't hate that. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real-time dice chucking game. It's basically you got a character and there's these hordes of aliens coming at you straight out of the Aliens franchise kind of thing. And the timer goes and you're like chucking dice and everyone around the whole table is chucking dice. Just shut up, move there, screaming. It's just chaos in a great way because if I roll a movement on my dice, my character moves. So I move him. And if I don't roll that movement, I can't. If I roll the gun, I can shoot. And then everyone's doing the same thing at the same time. And then if you hit the red dice, the aliens move. So it's like, move. And then sometimes it's like, move an alien for me. And Jennie will move an alien. And I mean, and so it's just this, and you've got objectives. You're going out into the field, hit the objectives, get back to the base. Madness, real-time timers, chaos, go, roll. And you learn, there's a dexterity component to it, right? And everyone, the first time you get it, you take your dice and you do this and you roll your dice.
They fall off the table.
Right. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, I mean, I keep my hands over them. I don't want my dice rolling over on them. It's like I don't have time for that. Like you better upgrade your die rolling thing, and it's shake it in your hand and put it down on the table and put your hands over it, pull it back. Okay, this. It's just a fantastic game. Oh, it's fun. Another fun part about this is that Jennie and I painted every miniature in it.
Yep.
Yeah, in fact, it's right there. There it is behind her head. Project Elite. So it's a game, by the way, it was an old game by some other company. Apparently they had terrible miniatures, but Simon took it over, did a Kickstarter for it. I didn't get the Kickstarter, unfortunately. I just got the base game. This is one of those ones, if I could go back in time, I would all in the whole thing. I'd get every alien, every tech, everything I could for this thing. So I just got the base box, and it's fantastic. Highly recommend it. So this is my 12, but I would say it's going to be in the top 25 of my games forever. It's just, I'm never getting rid of this. I was going to keep it. So my number 12 is Project Elite. Okay, on to numbers 11. Close to the top 10. What have you got for number 11, Jennie?
All right, my number 11. You're going to disagree with me on this one, too. My number 11 is Dune Imperium.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You love this game.
It's a great game.
You've pulled off some of the most fantastic...
One of the most epic wins of my entire life is in Dune Imperium.
And you're good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised by that.
All right, no, I think I love Dune Imperium. Dune Imperium, we play it a lot. It makes it to our table a lot, and it's because it's a very fun game. It's also a game that's great with 2 players. It's great with 4 players, so it expands very nicely. It really does give you the great, I mean, I don't know that it pulls through like the true Dune theme. I mean, the characters are pretty cool, and the special abilities that you have, you can see how they relate to that character. But what I do think it does well is that it does drive this pretty solid sense of scarcity, especially at the beginning of the game. So I think that, that to me feels like Dune, where it's like this desert planet. There's not a whole lot of just, it feels very scarce. It feels like you have to be, and you have to be very smart to figure out how to really maximize the resources that you're getting in order to make the moves that you want to make. Really smart game. They balance that very well.
Yeah, it's a 10-point game. 10 points, you win. So
yeah. Well, you
every
see that
time
point
you get an
tracker, and you're
opportunity-
like, this is dumb. This is going to be so easy. No, getting points, it is a serious maneuver. You've got to be really smart. And again, to me, that feels like Dune, where everything is like this, can you just outsmart and outbluff and outdo your opponent just by an inch, because that inch will give you a point. So I think they pulled that off, that feeling off really well. And it is, I have had one of my most epic wins ever off of Dune, and it is because of that point system where it's like someone literally has 2 more points than me. Everyone else, is around where I'm at, but boom, you just, you do a certain play and you just inch it out at the end, and it's super exciting. The fact that you can do that is super exciting.
Well, and the mechanic for that is that there's you can go and get what they're intrigue cards.
Yeah.
So it's intrigue. It's the sneaky stuff, right? The Dune sneaky political stuff behind the scenes. And if you understand that, which you did in this game and played, at the very end, the final battle, played, and it all just came together for one of the most really epic endings of any game I've ever seen.
Yeah. And I think Dune is one of those games, we were talking about this not on camera, but earlier in the countdown there was a game that was on my list called Onitama, which it is a game you have to stay mentally engaged in the entire game. Dune is another one of those games. You really have to pay attention. You have to be thinking about your next move while everyone else is making their move, which is probably why it feels that it goes just as quickly with more players as with few players, because you're not, you are paying attention to the other players because you have to, because they can impact what you want to do very much, but you're really just trying to come up with your plan A, your plan B, your plan C while they're all going. So really good game. Now that I'm talking about it, could have been much, much higher on my list. Incredibly fun game.
It's a great game. We'll see it again. Okay, Jenny's number 11 is Dune Imperium. Okay, my number 11 is a great big game from Awaken Realms. I don't get to play this enough, and I love it. And it's the kind of game I would describe this. If this had been around as my childhood, I think it would have become my Axis and Allies. The Axis and Allies was our game. Of course, there was only 10 games that existed back in the 80s, right? But Axis and Allies, come on over for Axis and Allies, come on over. This would have been that game. And it is Lords of Hellas. And I'm excited because there's an upgrade of that game called Lords of Ragnarok, which I have kickstarted for next year, or 2 or 3 years from now, depending on how it all goes. But Lords of Hellas, and it's got some warts to it, and I think they're going to try to fix those with Lords of Ragnarok. But oh my gosh, just a big dudes on a map. You've got a hero who's off, so you got your warriors doing their thing, but you have other ways to win. One way is to build a monument to the gods, build Zeus, build Athena, build Hermes. So that's really awesome. Another thing is to go out on quests. So you just go out and do quests. And there's just, the map is built in a way that, and you just got to pay attention to everyone. You had one of these victories that me and my son were playing. It was a 3-player game, and we were just like,
another one of my epic wins.
Yeah, this is a theme. We literally just said, this is insulting, but it's a joke. I mean it that way. It's like, she doesn't know what she's doing. She's not a war gamer like us, right? She likes to play, Isle of Cats, which isn't true. She's the cat lady, right? And we are just facing off against each other, killing back and forth, and she comes in, sneaks in, and just wipes us all out, gets all the cities, and I won. We're like, what? What are you saying? I won. It's over. Like, what? Great epic way, especially the way you came in from the backside. Great. I just love this game, and it's a game I would love to just play more. It's a great dudes on a map game with a lot of twists. Go on these quests, build these monuments, control, and you win if you control a certain number of territories. And absolutely fantastic. Lords of Hellas is I believe, number 11. Okay, Jenny, we are there. We're there. This is it. This is the top 10. This is the top 10. So you're going to start us off. What do you got for number 10?
All right. My number 10 is Atlantis Rising.
Atlantis Rising. So Atlantis Rising was. Oh, I forgot to. Hopefully the editor can fix this. Your Gloomhaven was number 10 last year. When I get a chance, yeah. So this year it's 13. So it's dropped. It dropped 3. Yeah.
That's not too bad.
That's not too
Yeah.
bad. Okay. Your number 10 though is Atlantis Rising,
Number 10 is Atlantis Rising,
which was my 15.
You're 15.
Okay.
So not to go over everything we went over again, but Atlantis Rising, really cool game, really fun, very cooperative. Everyone in this game, from what I've found when you play, is super engaged because you all play. Your leaders have certain abilities that can help other people as opposed to just helping yourself. They do a great job of balancing what you're trying to do to be able to save your civilization as well as watching Atlantis just go under turn after turn after turn. So they do a great job of balancing what you're trying to do with these misfortune cards, which can just feel like they're piling up on you. And at certain points in the game, you feel like it's hopeless. So it's a great balance. The characters are cool. The specific powers that your leaders have are really cool, and how they play off of one another. The components, I'm just gonna say it again, are beautiful. Even the base game components, we have the upgraded components, and they're phenomenal. The board is gorgeous. It's just a really fun game. It's a fun game to play with. You know, I think this is another one that's fun to play with a lot of people.
You can add more people to this. And
it still moves along quickly, and it's a great game. So, Atlantis Rising.
That's right. Okay, my number 10. Gotta get back to my list. My number 10 is a game that causes a lot of stress. It is a stressful game, and I had to rewire my way of looking at it. So it's a cooperative game. We started to play it, and we just lost. And I was like, okay, this isn't that fun. I'm not having fun playing this game. And I ended up going to a Facebook group for the game and saying, hey, I took a picture. My cat was laying in the middle of the game, and so I thought it was cute. And so I shared it, and I said, yeah, we died. We keep dying. And I got about, I don't know, 50 to 60 comments of people going, oh, yeah, I died that way too. And, oh, I died this way, and I died this way. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Why are you so excited?
Why are you so excited? And I thought, and I kind of understood that the game is about how you cinematically die in the most horrible way possible. And so the game is actually staring everyone in our face. It's right here. It's Nemesis. And when I first got back into the gaming hobby a couple of years ago, looking at the top 10 lists of hot games on Board Game Geek, this was always there. And I was naive. On the old days, I didn't know anything about Kickstarter, so I just looked around. Well, it just wasn't there, right? So I worked really hard, and I finally got in on the Nemesis Lockdown expansion Kickstarter. And if you did that, you had the option in Wave 1 to get Nemesis. Go back and get the base game, which I did. And so I was so thrilled to finally get this game. And we played it, finally got it to table, a couple months ago? And like I said, I played that first game. We got wiped out, killed, fire went through the ship, everyone died. And I looked at her and went, whoa, that was all this time I've been wanting to play this game. I've been so excited. This was the game in my radar. This was number 1, the first game I really thought to get. And I went, that's a piece of crap. I think we should just sell this. Like all that for nothing. Remember that feeling?
I remember feeling a little differently.
Well, no, for me. No, you saw me go through it. Yeah, you had more fun than I did that
Yeah.
first game. So I did the post on the Facebook. This is a long way of saying, and I went, okay, I'm going to approach this. How can I gloriously, horrendously die? And since that mind switch, I have loved this game. It's top 10. It's number 10. I will play this anytime. This is like a 9 or a 10. Like, put it on the table. It's pain in the ass to set up. It's a lot to set up.
Yeah.
But for Christmas, our son came and visited. You've heard about him. And we said, you're going to play Nemesis. And he'd heard so much about it. And I was like, we're going to die gloriously. And I mean, 3/4 of the way through the game, I'm sitting here going, we're doing too well. This sucks. He's going to win. He can't win his first game.
Oh, don't worry.
We didn't. We all just all went to hell real quick.
Real quick.
But so much fun if you look at it as a cinematic game. And we have one.
Yeah.
We have one.
Yep.
So Nemesis is a crazy game based on, it's not aliens, but it is aliens in space. You're on a ship, the Nemesis. I always come up to Jennie, my little joke is like, what are you feeling this afternoon? You want to take a little trip on the USS Nemesis to Venus? I bet it would just be wonderful and just be a fun vacation because, you're all going to get infested with aliens and everything is going to go to hell and you're probably going to end up dying. So my number 10, Nemesis. Jennie, we're to number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9. What's your number 9?
All right, my number 9. This I know was on my list last year for sure. My number 9 is Cthulhu Death May Die.
Cthulhu Death May Die. So let's go look. That was your number 2 last year.
So Cthulhu Death May Die, I still love this game. I really, really hope they come out with a season 3. That
Yeah.
they call them seasons. Because that game is just too fun to not play again. We actually have gone back and played a few of the first scenarios.
And loved them.
And
yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
So, but I would love for them to come out with season 3 of this game. The real big game changer for me with Cthulhu Death May Die, and they may even put this in the rules and we just didn't see it for a while, but for a 2-player game playing with more characters. So, and I don't know if that's in the setup or not. Either way, for a long time we played just Jason and I, and we played one character each, and it was just super hard. Not that it's not super hard anyway, but if you play a 2-player game, take 2 characters each, it makes it a lot more fun. You're still eking it out at the end if you get there at all. So it doesn't necessarily, it just adds a bigger, more dynamic, fun element to the game to play more characters. The scenarios are really fun. They're very different. The gods are fun, and the way that they interact and the wrinkles that they throw into the game and how they uniquely make the scenario harder, whether you're playing Hastur or Cthulhu or the Dark Go to the Woods. So replaying scenarios is definitely an option because you can play them with a different god and it makes it a totally different game. You can play different characters and it makes it a totally different game. So, and just the character boards and the unique abilities that the character has, as well as, some of the ones that, maybe mix and match other characters have. So Cthulhu Death May Die, it's just an awesome game. Some of our most epic wins, again, have come out from Cthulhu Death May Die, where it's that last card, that last pull, and if you don't get it, you're wiped out. So, again, a great, really nicely balanced game, Cthulhu Death May Die.
And the only thing I want to add to that is, it's interesting because I just did Nemesis. So this game, Cthulhu Death May Die, is built to stress you out, stress you, and then cinematically deliver a victory. Where Nemesis is just the same thing, stress you, and deliver a death. Right? And so Cthulhu Death May Die, there's more victories in it. Particularly when we figured it out.
Yeah.
That we each took 2 characters. We were having a hard time just taking 2. And we started to have those cinematic, okay, this is it. Roll that shotgun. If you hit, we win. If you miss, we all die. Yeah. And we just kept coming down to that moment of cinematic. And then, man, you roll that hit and everyone at the table screams and it's just you and I. But when we play with other people, we've had that same moment thing where it's everyone just like, oh, I cannot believe we just pulled that out. So it's designed right on that edge, and I think it's just an amazing design because they pull it off. They pull off, stress you, and give you a fair chance to victory.
Mm-hmm.
Where Nemesis is the opposite of that. It gives you, you're so close, and then they laugh because they pull the rug out from underneath you. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jenny's number 9
Number 9.
was
Cthulhu, Death and I. What was it? Oh, it was 2 last year.
yeah. And I look, this game might be higher for her, and I bet you it would be if we weren't done with it. We played seasons 1 and 2,
yeah,
and now
if there was season 3.
Yeah.
I think this thing would be higher on my list. But.
Yeah. And I've heard rumors. I mean, maybe that's just wishing from people who love the game, right? But if season 3 came, I mean, I think the day it came, we'd open it up, start painting the miniatures, and play within a day, if not the day.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready to go. Season 3 hit the table.
Yep.
That's just that fun. Okay, we are at Jason's number 9. I'm Jason, just to refresh you on who I am. And my number 9 is a tower defense game by Gray Fox Games, where you start with a little wooden fort, and then you build it up to this stone castle, and waves after waves after waves of barbarians are coming after you. And it combines a worker placement mechanic, because what you're doing is you're going out and getting supplies to build your castle against the waves of hordes of barbarians. And this game is called After the Empire. I just love it. It's just fun. It's fun to build a little castle. Start with a wooden fort, build it up, and then replace. The plastic pieces are amazing. You got these little wooden fort that reminds me of Lincoln logs. And the next thing you do, you're replacing them and putting towers up there, and stone towers and stone walls, and also doing the worker placement piece. It's competitive in the sense that I'm certainly not attacking you and you're not attacking me, but we're fighting for resources. Mm-hmm. So that's where the competition is. And then it goes into the war phase, and here they come, and they tear down your walls, and they enter your castle, and you're so fun game. I love it. I would play it more often. I think I'm the one who likes it the most, and so I don't get it to the table as much because everyone's all like, oh, okay, but they're not excited about it. My number 9, After the Empire.